leadership advisory members, staff, volunteers, donors, and government officials, everyone in this room who shows up and speaks up for our mission, thank you for being here tonight. Tonight is JBWS's Donor and Volunteer Appreciation Celebration, and let me tell you, this event is my absolute favorite. Why? Because it's all about you. Tonight we shine a well-deserved spotlight on the heartbeat of JBWS, our donors, our volunteers, and the champions behind the scenes who power the organization with your time, your resources, your voices, and sometimes even your own stories. Help us do that this evening, but here are some VPs that are in the house. So if you're cueing the imaginary drum roll, or you could even do that. Could I have all of our current and former board members please rise? And let's give them a round of applause so they can do their Thank you for your commitment, your passion, and your service. Now our theme tonight is breaking the silence of domestic violence. It's a phrase that's more than just a theme. It's a call to action, a rallying cry, and for many of us, a personal mission. For nearly 50 years, JBWS has worked to break that silence, sometimes with a whisper of support, other times with a full-throated roar of advocacy, but this year, we turned up the volume. We've amplified the voices of survivors, board members, staff, and clients alike who bravely shared their stories. They've stood before legislators, led committees, and served side by side with law enforcement on the front lines of response. Their courage has given voice and visibility to the thousands who have walked through our doors in search of safety, healing, and hope. Together, we have redefined what survivorship looks like. Not just surviving, but thriving, leading, and lighting the way for others. You, our supporters, have helped make that possible. We've expanded our reach into the community, and it's not just by having a community educator, but by creating an outreach committee of staff dedicated to expanding our visibility. And just this past October, as you just saw, JBWS launched Unsilenced, one of the first podcasts in New Jersey and across the nation solely focused on ending the culture of silence that surrounds domestic violence by increasing conversations about abuse. Breaking the silence of domestic violence is so incredibly important because domestic violence grows in silence and isolation. It isolates victims who feel trapped in shame and fear, protects the person using abuse, and allows the cycle of abuse to continue. Speaking up empowers victims, letting them know that they are not alone. When domestic violence is openly discussed, it becomes harder to ignore. Increased awareness leads to better support systems, policy changes, and prevention efforts. Open conversations challenge harmful societal norms and misconceptions, like victim blaming, and promotes a culture of support and respect. And we couldn't possibly do any of that without all of you. So what I would first like to do is to call up a very special volunteer and board member, and his name is Jeff Simon. So Jeff, can you come up here for a moment, please? I go first, Jeff. But first, what we would like to do, and maybe if you want to step a couple of feet out there and look at the screen, we're going to play a little video that you can watch. So for those of you that don't know, this was a surprise for Jeff tonight. He thought that we asked him to say a few words words about what it means to be a volunteer. And in reality, we really wanted to recognize what he has done for countless survivors, their families, and their children. So I'm going to hand you a plaque, and then I'm going to say a few words about what you've done for us. So for over a decade, Jeff has been a dedicated JBWS volunteer, working closely with our CFO on facilities projects and serving on the board of directors for 6 years. He chairs the board's facilities committee, and he also serves on the nomination and golf fundraising committees. I have no idea where you find the time. Jeff's journey with JBWS began during Deloitte's Day of Service, where he was inspired by the mission and compassionate staff, and since then, he's become an irreplaceable part of our community. What really sets Jeff apart is his deep understanding of community as a reflection of shared humanity. He volunteers widely, from supporting families after storms in North Carolina to organizing humanitarian aid for war-impacted communities in the Ukraine, including helping send over 30 containers of supplies and 2 ambulances. He also regularly connects and volunteers for more than 20 nonprofit organizations. Jeff is a generous donor, coordinates and organizes regular in-kind drives for JBWS, and assists with our holiday project. He's a hands-on facilities volunteer, regularly helping with maintenance, logistics, and donation management. He also supports our development team by preparing for events and coordinating volunteers. During the pandemic, Jeff launched the furniture donation program, helping clients transition from a residential program into new homes, eliminating financial barriers through donated furnishings and coordinated volunteer-led moves. Through the Morristown Knights of Columbus, Jeff often advocates for domestic violence awareness, bringing JBWS leadership to events and offering donated use of the Knights of Columbus venue for JBWS events and activities. Jeff's impact is deeply personal. He's helped provide food, clothing, and basic needs, move survivors into safe housing, furnish their homes, and met urgent needs during crisis. Clients often say that without Jeff's compassion and connections, their path to safety and independence would have been far more difficult. Motivated by his spiritual faith and strong moral compass, Jeff Simon leads by example, making the world better every day. JBWS and our entire community are truly grateful. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you and good evening, everybody. I'm Senator Tony Bucco, and I'm honored to be here to recognize Jeff. I'll tell you what, that was a pretty impressive video. Much better than any of my campaign videos. But, you know, you've heard about breaking silence, right? And every organization like this needs a voice. They need someone out there representing the organization in the community. Volunteering, providing leadership, putting their money where their mouth is, being on the board. And Jeff, that's what you do for JBWS. And everyone here has seen the fruits of your labor and understands the impact that you have for those that so desperately need it. And tonight, I'm just so proud to be here to recognize you and to tell you that your generosity, your volunteerism, your leadership has impacted more lives than you will ever know. And that's what it's all about. That's what life is all about making it a better place for those that need it. And this world is a different place. JBS is a different place. This community is a different place because of your efforts. So tonight, on behalf of the state of New Jersey, I am honored to present you with a joint Senate and Assembly resolution, which was introduced on the floor of the Senate by me and on the floor of the Assembly by Assemblywoman Dunn and Assemblyman Durango, passed unanimously in both houses. That means you're doing something pretty good. Not a lot of stuff passes. So I'm so proud to know you, and even more proud to call you a friend. Thank you, and God bless you.
I'm going to do that now. Now I have to live up to all that. But I got to tell you, the journey started with JBWS. I went back and I looked back 10 years ago, almost to the day. It started with a Deloitte Volunteer Day. It was one day, and all that. I got inspired by JBWS, the amazing work they do, and the passion for doing it. And so what little started off of, well, maybe you can help us with this, and maybe you can help us with that. And I learned that, I'm getting too much way out of that. And so I brought some friends, and they brought some friends, and they brought some friends. And 10 years later, it's my passion to retirement. I know both Mal and I were blessed with lives that we can take for granted, and JBWS became that platform that taught us how to live it, give it, and share it. And it's been, today has been way too much fun. But being honored like this, I wasn't prepared for. So I'm a little bit humble, I'm a little bit shy, which all of you that know me say that's not my forte. But you got me tonight. So thank you so much. And it's just the beginning, not the end of what I do. Thank you.
So when it comes to champions in the fight against domestic violence, Senator Anthony Bucco doesn't just talk the talk, he writes the legislation. A proud Purple Ribbon Award winner for Outstanding Legislator of the Year in 2023, for decades Senator Bucco has been a powerful voice in breaking the silence of domestic violence, using his seat at the table to stand up for families impacted by abuse. His unwavering support isn't just felt in the halls of government. It's felt in the lives of survivors who are safer, stronger, and more supported because of his leadership. Senator Bucco.
Thank you so much. That's a hard act to follow. I'll give you my $20 later. As I said before, it's just an honor to be here today, especially on a night like tonight where you're honoring the donors, the volunteers, and the folks that make JBWS run. Domestic violence is not a partisan issue. It's not a Republican problem. It's not a Democrat problem. It's a human problem. It's a human problem. And it needs everybody pulling in the same direction, no matter what your party affiliation, to make sure that the services and the programs can be provided to those that are in need. And I couldn't be prouder to be one of the biggest cheerleaders for JBWS down in Trenton. Because JBWS does it right. When I'm out there advocating for funding or advocating for legislation, people recognize who I'm advocating for. And it makes my job that much easier. And all of your voices help to get that funding, to provide that necessary legislation, to get it done. Whether it's the $500,000, I guess, that we've been able to get into the budgets in the last couple of years to help support JBWS, whether it's Stephanie's Law, which we were able to get through the Judiciary Committee just this year. I sat there on the Judiciary Committee. I have the privilege of serving on the Judiciary Committee, and I watched a number of women come up and tell their stories. And let me tell you, that's not easy. To come up in front of the public body with reporters in the State House, legislators all around you, and tell of the horrors of their experience. And the thing was that the chairman put that bill up only for discussion that day. Only for discussion. And as I sat there and listened to these stories, and Stephanie's law, just so you know, is a law that would provide for a public register of people convicted of domestic violence. So that if you're a young woman that is on a dating site, or your daughter comes home from school or wherever and says, I met this guy at a football game, there should be a place where you can go. Because so many of those women said the same thing, that it wasn't the first time for their abuser. And if they had known before, they would have made a different choice. So I can tell you, after about 45 minutes of listening to these courageous women, I got up and I went to the chairman and I said to him, you cannot be serious that we are going to let all these folks go home without voting on this legislation. I said, I'm coming up here as a courtesy to ask you to post it for a vote. I said, because if you don't, I'm going to move it right when the last person is done, and I'm going to force you to vote no, and I just don't think you want to do that. Well, guess what? That bill came out unanimously out of that committee. Now we've got another hurdle. We've got to get it through the budget committee, then we've got to get it onto the floor of the Senate, and we've got to get it passed. Not only for all of those women that had the courage to come down to testify, but for all those who are out there that will have a chance not to go through that hard. And it's important. But you know, listen, I understand that tonight I'm preaching to the choir. Because if you didn't understand everything that I just said, you wouldn't be here. But you know, just like Jeff, right? Break the silence. I call that singing, right? The pastor preaches to the choir because he wants the choir to sing. He wants the choir to sing. And your job tonight is just like my job. Although I'm not that good of a singer, so don't ask me to. But go out there and sing. Tell folks about what goes on at JBWS. Yes? Tell folks about the lives and the families that are being saved. Tell folks about what it means to be involved in this organization and make a difference in somebody's lives. It's not often in life that you can get involved in an organization and have the ability to change someone's life. But that's what every one of you here tonight has. And I applaud you for it. And I will always be that cheerleader and trainer for you. But I need your help. I need you to sing as loud as you can. Because that puts the pressure on those guys when I go up to them and say, you better vote for this or I'm going to call you out. So tonight I'm honored to be here. I apologize. I have another event I have to go to. The Police Chiefs Association in New Jersey is having a little event in Morristown. And they promised to lock me up if I don't show up. So I apologize that I can't stay. But I do want every one of you to know how proud and how thankful I am of each and every one of you for all that you do for JBWS. And I will continue to advocate as strong as I can every day that I remain in Treasury. Thank you and God bless you.
Those are all hard acts to follow, huh? So, we're going to go and we're going to talk about some statistics. So in 2024, we didn't just read the signs. We heard the call. The need for critical services didn't dwindle, it deepened. 189 survivors and their children came through our doors seeking emergency shelter from violent homes. each one a story of courage, each one a call for help we were proud to answer. Our transitional living program kept doing what it does best, building bridges to long-term safety and success for 59 survivors and their children. One step, one safe night, one fresh start at a time. But the numbers told us something else too. They're rising. Not just statistics, but signs that more people are reaching out, stepping forward, and asking for support. At the Morris Family Justice Center, 542 individuals accessed comprehensive services, which was a 13% increase from the year before. At the courthouse, 1,332 individuals received critical legal advocacy, a 17% increase. And our crisis response team was busier than ever, with 1,145 dispatches. Yes, another 17% increase. And let's be clear, these statistics are not statewide statistics. These are statistics for just Morris County, one of the wealthiest counties in the country. Domestic violence does not discriminate by zip code. But it's just not about the numbers, it is about the impact. It's about the quality of our services, the depth of our commitments, and the incredible partnerships that make it all possible. Which brings me to some rather exciting news. We are honored to share that JBWS was recently recognized with 5 Purple Ribbon Awards presented by DomesticShelters.org on excellence in the fight against domestic violence. These awards honor heart, hustle, and innovation, and JBWS delivered on all 3. The first of those coveted purple ribbons goes to the one and only MC Robinson, whose talent, heart, and keyboard combined to create our JBWS annual report, which was just named Annual Report of the Year. MC didn't just write a report. She crafted a story of impact, resilience, and hope, and she did not do it alone. This beautifully designed masterpiece came to life through an incredible collaboration with the Merck Communications team, who generously took on the design project pro bono. So it is a perfect example of what happens when passion meets partnership. To MC and our friends at Merck, thank you for helping us not only tell our story, but shine in it. Truly, we couldn't do what we do without our amazing corporate partners. Yes, you have to come
Me?
up now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Someone's got to take my picture.
So let's give a big round of applause to Karen Johnson. She is our powerhouse VP of Business and Colin Waller, our inspiring wellness coordinator, for their leadership of JBWS's WISH, our wellness initiative supporting health. Their program didn't just win the award for most innovative service, it reshaped how we support survivors and staff by integrating the 8 dimensions of wellness into everything that we do, from services to workplace culture. To Karen, Colleen, and our amazing WISH volunteers and donors that are here tonight, thank you. You have reminded us that wellness is not just a perk. It is a promise, and tonight we thank you for keeping it. And now, without further ado, and with all the fanfare she deserves, please help me welcome the one, the only, the endlessly energetic Jane Murphy Morris. donations and volunteer manager extraordinaire, Jane is here to sprinkle a little sparkle and share the colorful behind-the-scenes magic of how our incredible volunteers helped fuel JBWS success in 2024. Trust me, you're going to want to hear this.
Good evening. I'm going to do my best to stick to my script because those of you that know me know I can talk. Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me to take a minute or two to highlight a bit of our great work that all of you have completed in 2024 and in 2025. In 2024, we recorded 10,084 hours of volunteer time, which is a 21% increase over the year prior. There are volunteers who assist in the children's program, the crisis response team, safe house support, fundraising, special event gurus, legal advocacy services, my volunteer office and donation support volunteers, through corporate days of service, and the list goes on and on. You all give of your time and your talent and your treasure, all so that we, the staff, can run our programs, create a safety net for our clients, and have the time and bandwidth to perform our own job functions. Thank you does not nearly seem adequate enough. I am fortunate to have the privilege of interacting with so many of you on a regular basis, whether it's sorting food or foiling flowers. I shouldn't have said that because now it's sorting food or supporting a children's event. Our distribution of donations would come to a standstill without the effort of groups like the Chester Lionesses and the Parsippany Women's Club. The cornerstone of our holiday boutique includes 80 plus businesses and corporations that collect gift items so our clients are able to shop and enjoy that experience at no cost. Again, thank you does not nearly seem adequate enough. We have over 140 active individual volunteers on a yearly basis, as well as more than 25 corporate days of service, both on-site and off. We are on track this year to increase that engagement by about 20%. This engagement is crucial to provide clients safety, support, and a path to moving forward. I could go on and on, again, as many of you know, but I won't. But I will end with one of my favorite quotes from Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Thank you does not seem nearly adequate enough, but my heart is full of gratitude because of all of you, our thoughtful and committed JBWS citizens. Thank you very much.
So next up is someone who doesn't just wear any hats, she styles them with purpose and heart. Beth Correa has been a force behind the scenes and right in the heart of our mission. Whether she's rolling up her sleeves on a special event committee or jumping in to support our direct service programs, Beth has been a steady, compassionate presence, helping to break the silence of domestic violence with every thoughtful gesture, every hour volunteered, and every life that she has quietly touched. Beth?
Good evening. Thank you for that introduction. As you know, I'm Beth, and I've been a JBWS volunteer since 2019. It's great to see so many other volunteers here tonight, and thank you to JBWS for the recognition of the essential work the volunteers do in putting on this very special event. Over the course of my life, I've seen the painful impact that domestic violence can have, and the devastating impact to individuals and families. I've seen the shame, the denial, and the secrecy that accompany DV. We know life is amazing, but it can also be hard. I've had my share of challenges, and I'm very appreciative of the support I've gotten to help me navigate through the difficult times. With gratitude, I knew I wanted to give back, and as a goal I set for myself, I wanted to volunteer with JBWS when I retired. I still remember the interview I had with Lynn, which was a critical part of becoming a volunteer. I was very excited, but also nervous. It seemed like a big deal. DV is scary. How would I feel working with the survivors? I knew I wanted to be part of JBWS, but how would I actually feel being a volunteer? Well, 6 years later, I know. Being a JBWS volunteer fills me with an incredible sense of purpose, sense of accomplishment, and a sense of community. I am extremely proud to be part of this organization that works with survivors and works to break the silence. My volunteering started with the children's program, and I briefly answered the helpline. Later, I supported Family Justice Center, and currently I'm focused on legal advocacy and being a co-chair for one of JBWS's critical fundraising events, Autumn Auction for Hope. Within the children's program, my personal highlight was camping with the JBWS families. Seeing the children outside, trying new things, having fun, felt so good. I was so happy that I could be part of their joy and seeing them have those experiences. It makes me to think of the impact that DV has on those innocent children. I've also had the pleasure of seeing other volunteers working with children at TLP or Safe House or Day of Unity, sharing their talents and their time to help the children. At Family Justice Center, I saw the unpredictability of a walk-in center. I saw the clients greeted with warmth, and I was impressed by the services the clients received. And I gained some knowledge, some background information that helped me transition into legal advocacy. As a legal advocate, I work with plaintiffs in the courthouse. These plaintiffs are raw with emotion as they're working to navigate the complicated legal system, as they're working to get restraining orders for their protection from those who are abusing them. I hear the stories in the courthouse, and these stories can be painful, hard to hear, but I know I'm making a difference, and I know that I am helping, and I'm honored to be part of the Legal Advocates team. I'm pleased to be able to tell the clients about the services JBWS provides, services that are free to the clients, but we know that they are not free for JBWS. And so that brings me to fundraising. As co-chair of the Autumn Auction for Hope fundraising committee, I partner with an incredible co-chair and a talented, fun, dedicated team of women. And together we will bring together an event that raises critical funds for JBWS, showcases the work JBWS, and brings awareness of domestic violence. The committee plays a role breaking the silence, not just at the luncheon, but long before the event. We go out into the community, we ask for sponsorships, we solicit donations, we invite our family, our friends, our colleagues, our neighbors to the event. We talk openly about domestic violence. I'll close with a shout out to all the volunteers. I focused on my experience, but as we know, there's many, many more, and these volunteers are doing numerous activities. I see how JBWS relies on us and the vital roles we are taking. And I've met some incredible people. I'm full of pride to reflect on what we are accomplishing together, and I am grateful to be part of the JBWS volunteer community. Thank you.
She's incredible. So now I have the absolute joy of calling someone very special to the stage. I guess this is a stage. Our very own crisis response team manager, Robin Hughes. So Robin didn't just show up this year, she showed out. earning not one but 2 Purple Ribbon Awards. Advocate of the Year and Hope Giver of the Year. That's right, Hope Giver, because when you meet Robin, you'll understand why that title fits her like a glove. Robin, along with our incredible crisis response team volunteers, has been on the front lines breaking the silence of domestic violence, one call, one hospital room, one police station at a time. In the darkest, most terrifying moments for survivors, they show up with calm, care, and compassion, and they bring not just a voice, but a lifeline. So please join me in giving a loud, love-filled round of applause as we welcome Robin.
Okay, so I'm going to be a little bit redundant. So we saw a lot of people last year in hospitals and police stations. I have to throw stats out because that's how you can get an actual visual. 209 men were seen. It's interesting to see that dynamic because those numbers with men who were victims are going up, up, up. 16 non-fatal strangulations. So for those people who don't know, we have a new job on top of the CRT team. We do non-fatal strangulation, and we respond to hospitals after someone has had an incident with strangulation, and we're supporting the forensic nurses with that exam. But what's incredible is 81% of the people we saw wanted something else from JDWS. So they needed counseling service, they needed shelter, they needed a cell phone, they needed diapers, they needed food, they needed something else. And we were able to keep that window open so that we could offer them a way out of that relationship and a way to safety. So that is, like, to me, is the testament of the work. We're sparking hope in people. We're showing them that they don't have to stay cemented where they are, that there are chances that they may not have even knew existed without someone showing up and meeting them there. The strength in relationships we have now with the 3 local hospitals, which is St. Clair's Dover, St. Clair's in Denville, and Morristown, is absolutely incredible. The increase from 2014 to now, 2024, is 335% more people being seen by CRTs. So when we look at the 2014 numbers and we look now, that's over 334% increase. Now I want you to know that that's not because Morris County has more domestics, because that is not true. We respond to domestics, right? Demographically, we should not have more domestics than Essex County, Camden County, Hudson County, Passaic County, just based on population. But we do. We are the #1 response team for the state of New Jersey because these volunteers, these people show up. And police stations, they're dedicated to the cause. They believe what JDWS is offering. They understand the importance of connecting volunteers to victims so that they know what their resources are, and that there's someone there, someone who's going to show up. I always say, we'll show up every time because we know victims will come back. If they feel that they were supported and validated, maybe today's not their day. Today's not the day to move forward. But my volunteers tell them we will show up every time. And they do show up every time. Look at this. Here's a domestic for you right now. Okay. We're going to make sure that gets taken. At the last countywide CRT training, I asked everybody, what's your why? Why do you do this? Why do you volunteer for JDWS? Why do you do my program, the CRT program? And I went over the sheets and they said to make a difference, because people deserve safety and support, so people know that they're not alone, because they believe in the mission of JDWS. Personal experience brought them to the mission and inspired them to give back. But the underlying theme is the same, the desire to help people, to give back to the world, and to make a positive change. I can't begin to express how much the dedication of my volunteers and every volunteer with JDWS means to me personally, what it means to JDWS. Your compassion, your strength, your unwavering support have given countless people hope when they thought they had nothing left. Because of you, lives have been changed and countless individuals have found the courage to rebuild their lives. Thank you for the incredible impact you've made. You have been a source of inspiration to me personally, and the world is a better place because you're in it. And I am so honored to share this world with people like you. Everyone in this room who gives back to their community, who's there to support someone in need. It's you who should be honored. These awards are great, but you do the work right alongside me, and I appreciate every single one of you. So thank you so much.
Sorry, we jumped around. So is Assemblywoman Dunn here? Come on up, Assemblywoman Dunn. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Assemblywoman Dunn. So for those of you that don't know, am I going to steal your thunder if I talk about you? So long before Assemblywoman Dunn was Assemblywoman Dunn, she was Maura Dunn, Crisis Response Team Volunteer for JBWS. And so she's actually not just a Crisis Response Team volunteer, but standing with us, speaking with us, ensuring that policies on the books reflect the realities we see every day, have helped break the silence of domestic violence. So please help me in congratulating Assemblywoman Maura Dunn for being awarded the Purple Ribbon Award for Outstanding Legislator of the Year. And now it's her turn.
It's my turn. I feel way more comfortable coming up here with something to give to others than to receive, which I think everyone in this room could identify with, can't they? Because we are, I love that, we're the hope givers. Can I add that to my resume? Yeah. But really, I just want to thank everyone. This is a tremendous honor, but that I share with all of you. And I believe my running mate, the senator, was here earlier. And he might have said where he was heading, over to an event installing the head of the chiefs of police for the state of New Jersey. Well, that's where I started my evening. So I like to say, we got you covered. And it's quite fitting that we are spending an evening tonight with JBWS as well as law enforcement. And what I've noticed in my exchanges with the chiefs of police that were there and the sheriff, I started this when I got the training when my son was really little. He's graduating high school now. I remember saying that on Sunday at the walk, summarize the time, and I said, wow, it's been about 16 years. And to be able to have a conversation with police officers tonight and say, I'm headed over to JBWS's event, their Volunteer Appreciation Night. I'm a CRT, and they know all the acronyms, right? And then they say hello to Robin. And I've really seen the tremendous growth and strength in the program, and really thank you, Robin, for all that you do. And she gave me a refresher course, too. It was about due. I might be due for another one. And as you know, we're always learning. I appreciate you sharing those, as sobering as they are, those statistics. Yesterday, the State Parole Board testified before me on the Budget Committee. And indeed, it is staggering to know about the strangulation cases. And there's some good news that recidivism is down when folks re-enter. But if crimes are committed again, what's up is the domestic violence, which I really, I just had to stand back and say, well, what are we going to do about that, right? It's like a turning inward, so we just have to continue to make sure. I think of all the children and the families impacted by domestic violence, right? It's in many ways, it's a legacy trauma that we must end that cycle. So I just am so grateful for all the work that you do to end this cycle and to show up and let folks know that they're not alone, they're never alone through this, to not suffer in silence, that we are here for you. And I always want to say that definitely love and support will always be louder and win over fear. So thank you again. Let's keep this work going. And I look forward to coming back to give something to the honorees. Thank you.
That moment of panic when you realize all the pages are all mixed up. You want to come up and give out the citations? That'd be great. That'll help me get these organized.
Okay, way more comfortable now. Get to acknowledge these stellar volunteers, or the number of crisis calls that were responded to. It's quite, I thought no one should respond to that in a lifetime. So you're doing tremendous work, and I just want to thank you for your dedication. Know that the state thanks you. The state recognizes you. And we don't do this to be thanked, right? We don't do this to be thanked. Especially in the moment of a crisis, you're not thinking thank you, but that's what makes tonight so special. I want to shine the light on you and say thank you for all that you do. So if should I bring both honorees up? I don't want to ruin a surprise. So Tracy. Yes, seriously.
Congratulations and thank you. It really brings such tremendous distinction to our state. Yes. We're huggers.
When it comes to quiet heroes, Bud DeBellis speaks volumes through generosity that echoes in every corner of our work. Bud has been a steadfast supporter, helping break the silence of domestic violence. Not with a microphone, but with meaningful financial contributions that fuel critical services and quite literally save lives. Bud has been facilitating donations for JWS since 2013, and for 13 consecutive years, for a total of nearly $475,000. His support may be behind the scenes, but its impact is front and center. Thank you, Bud, for being a force of hope and heart. Please come on.
I've often said to my dear Elaine, my wife of 51 years, that we're blessed a million ways. One blessing happened about 13 years ago when I met the anonymous benefactor I represent. One of our many projects was creating a plan to donate significantly to a number of charities with the mantra to help people help themselves. As I explained to him, helping people get out of the myriad terrible situations they can find themselves in takes many hands and skills. Education, child care, confidence building, legal protections, arranging for food and shelter are just part of it. One of the paramount skills is what JBWS does, providing safety, support, and solutions so as to remove the main obstacles to their clients' success, and helping them deal with all the varied challenges they'll face. When I hear the stories told by the people who are trapped that JBWS has helped, I know the good our donations have done. We're changing people's lives in no small way. They are often despondent and without hope, but our donations and the great work of all of you volunteers at JBWS gives them hope. As I've often told Diane Williams, the CEO we are blessed to have, this is God's work and we must support it. But personally, my role in facilitating these gifts has turned into much more than I ever imagined. I donate much of my time because the goal is so worthwhile and the positive effect on people's lives so satisfying. Every one of us in this room has had a leg up to help us get where we are. And giving this kind of help is good for the soul. Another of those many blessings I described is meeting and conversing with the people who are helped by this organization. Hearing over the years the many speakers encouraged by JBWS to tell their stories spurs us on to keep on giving. It is most gratifying to hear these people tell of their success with JBWS great help in getting out of harm's way, developing amazing skills, and finally becoming able to live safely and being able to raise their children the way they want to. It moves me every time because it exemplifies our benefactor's mantra of wanting to help people help themselves. What more can you ask? Thank you.
So next up, and yes, it's all in order now, let's give a warm round of applause for someone who knows how to make every word count, Danny Graddick. So with a heart for service and a mind for messaging, Danny has been a guiding voice behind the scenes, helping to break the silence of domestic violence through her thoughtful leadership on the Communications Committee of the JBWS Board. Whether crafting strategy or amplifying survivor stories, Danny helps ensure our message is not only heard, but felt.
So, as you know, I'm Danielle Graddick. I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist, and I own a private practice here in New Jersey. While I joined JBWS as a board member in 2023, JBWS has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. My mom and my stepdad are and were extremely passionate about furthering JBWS's mission to end domestic violence. It's fair to say that their passion and excitement rubbed off on me. I'm honored to now serve as the chair of the Communications Committee here at JBWS, and I'm incredibly proud of the work that the committee has done since it was formed in 2024. Our committee exists to amplify the voice and vision of JBWS. We strive to ensure that our message reaches the hearts, minds, and communities of those impacted by domestic violence. Everything we do is rooted in ensuring survivors feel seen, heard, and supported, and that the broader public understands the vital work of this organization. I'm delighted to share some of the goals that we've worked towards within the last few years. First, we revamped the brand guidelines and dissected the website through the lens of survivors, community partners, volunteers, and donors. We asked ourselves to be thoughtful about whether that information was easily accessible and helpful. Second, the Communications Committee takes pride in strategizing how to best promote campaigns like Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Domestic Violence Awareness Month is particularly important to us because it allows JBWS to partner with local organizations like restaurants and libraries across Morris County and spread the word about our mission. We also brainstorm marketing ideas for unique JBWS events like Tricky Trade for Hope, Autumn Auction for Hope, Great Tastings. In keeping with the times, the Communications Committee has been very intentional about increasing our social media presence across all major platforms. Our communications director, MC, ensures that JBWS consistently creates posts that not only serve to educate, but also create space for healthy dialogues. Last, and certainly not least, as you've heard and seen, We also launched a podcast on October 1st called Unsilenced: Real Conversations About Abuse. From its inception, our committee was involved in shaping the vision, defining the purpose, identifying the audiences we wanted to reach, and how to market it. The podcast is unique to JBWS because it offers real conversations about abuse, meaning that conversations are raw, unfiltered, and interesting, as opposed to strictly educational. The Unsilenced podcast also takes pride in being culturally humble. Our communications director produces various episodes centering diverse communities impacted by domestic violence. We also recorded episodes discussing culturally relevant topics like Diddy and Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. There's something for everyone. This podcast is an extension of our mission at JBWS. It empowers survivor voices, educates the public, and breaks the silence that too often surrounds abuse, and it's just getting started. As you can tell, I'm very, very proud of the work that the Communications Committee has done and will continue to do. We have exciting things ahead. Thank you for your time.
Such amazing speakers tonight, just incredible. And now to bring this unforgettable evening to a close, I'd love to invite someone up here who leads with heart, wisdom, and the kind of calm confidence that makes everything feel possible. Please welcome our fearless board chair, the one and only Rita Karacha.
So I guess I'm the only thing between a few more drinks and dessert, so I will be quick. So I'm delighted to be here on behalf of the Board of Directors to thank everyone. Obviously, the work that's done here can't be done without all of you. And we heard that consistently. It's the theme tonight. And I was like, oh, I said that. We recognize so many people, including Jeff and Bud, but all of you are special and amazing, and we thank you for everything that you do. And I think, people have said it before, thank you is wholly inadequate, but it's the only way we know how to say things, so thank you. The board is grateful for you and for all that you do on behalf of the organization. Aesop had said, no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted, and you prove that every day by showing up in whatever way you do, big or small. And it all matters. Big things, small things, they all matter, so thank you for that. We talked a lot about the breaking the silence, and Danny did a great job of just talking about it now. And I think as board members, we're trying to do the same, to be advocates, whether it's legislatively, with our friends, family, corporate sponsors. We're also trying to post on social media, and I think all of you can help with that as too, because you never know, that one time you post something, that one time you have a conversation, you might reach someone, and if everyone who is associated with JBWS does that, we'll continue to be able to have it come out of the isolation and the darkness that is there for domestic violence. So, it's easy to do. It really is relatively easy to do. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Let me see. Helen just gave me late-breaking changes, so sorry about that. So I think there's a lot more coming, and before we kind of finalize everything, there's a lot more coming. There's many more initiatives on the horizon, so I think as we continue to look through things, you'll find more information on that. We're looking forward to our 50th anniversary next year, so you'll be hearing more about that as we kick off our planning on that. And, I think there's a resource table. Where's the resource table? Outside. Okay, over here. Encourage everyone to go by the resource table. There's lots of great information over there, including on breaking the silence. So please find the JBWS team members, and if you have any questions, help with that. And, that really, I think that does it. That concludes our program. So we'll move on to dessert. But there is a writer who said, volunteers don't necessarily have the time, they just have the heart. And I think all of you have the heart, and we should have the